Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're all doing great. On today's video, I'm going to show you how to make this very beautiful and stylish A-line gown. This is super easy, trust me on this one. And I'm making use of this African print fabric. I already have it all folded out here, and of course I held it down with a pin so that you can have it in place. So this is called Adire Silk. The more reason why I really have to hold it down, and this is a very beautiful fabric to work with, very easy. And you can usually see this with making outfits such as the kaftans, the free dress, and the light. You can also rock it with every other kind of style. This is a very beautiful fabric and I love it. So what I have here is the full length of the measurement I'm working with, which is 52. I just added extra 2 inches of allowance because of the joining at the shoulder part and the hemming at the lower part of the dress. So the first thing I'm going to do now is just to take note of my measurements. So from this top, I'll identify the chest line, which will be at 9. Then I'll identify the waistline, which is going to be at 17. Then the hip line, not necessarily, I'm not going to use that anyway, but just to have it in place. And of course, the full length of the dress all the way down. So what I will do now is to convert these lines to a straight line. So at this top part, I'm going to impute in my shoulder markings, which is the 3 by 8 inches method. So I'll just come to this tip and mark out my 3 inches and of course my 8 inches. At this 8 inches, I'll come down by 1 and so I can get my shoulder slope. So I'll connect it to this 3 inches mark. And of course, I would like to extend it all the way forward. So the shoulder line I'm working with is 18. If I divide it by 2, I have 9. So I'll go ahead and mark out the 9 inches, which is of course going to be on this slope line we have created. Then I'll add extra half inches of allowance for hemming. Okay, so which is what I have here is 9.5. So I'll go ahead and extend it all the way to this chest line so I can get an angle 90 for my armhole curve. So here is 9.5. I'll mark the straight line here. So at this chest line I have here, I'm going to impute the bust measurement, which is 49. If I divide it by 4, I have 12.5. So I'm going to add 12.5 here. Then also I'll add extra 2.5 inches of allowance. Then I'll come to the waistline. I put the waist measurement, which is also the same thing, 12.5. I'll add extra 2.5 inches of allowance. But in order to just give it a little bit of shape, I'll just come down in by half of an inch here. I hope you understand. So at this waistline, because it's the same measurement, so I just came in by half of an inch just to give this a little bit of slant here. So here, from the bust to the waist, so I'm going to be taking it all the way from this waistline all the way to the floor line. So which is why I said the hip line was not really necessary. But before I connect it, I'll come down to the lower part. I'm going to impute in my hip measurement, which happens to be the biggest part of the measurement here, and that is 54. If I divide it by 4, I have 13.5. So I mark 13.5. So because it's an A-line, you can add extra 3 to 5 inches or even more, as much as you want. So what I have here, I'll just use entirely the remaining numbers I have on the fabric here. What I have here is about 8 inches or 7 inches. So I'll just go ahead and use the entire thing. So what I'm going to do now is to take it from that waistline and connect it all the way to the floor length. Okay. So coming down to this lower part, because I just want to avoid some rough edges at this part, so I'm going to go up here by say 2 inches. Then I'll come to this unfold part and I'll take in the bust span measurement, which is going to be at 4.5 plus extra allowance. So I'll just connect it all the way to these 2 inches away. This is just to create a curve at the side of this gown, okay, which is optional. You can decide to leave it like that, but I want to create that curve just to avoid the rough edges. I hope you understand that. I'll just take it from there. just a little curve at this lower part. So I'll go ahead and cut this out before moving up. So I'll come back to cutting the remaining side. But first of all, here I would like to input in um, the neckline. But before that, at this armhole part, remember we've already inputted our bust measurement. So I'll just come here from this shoulder joining, this shoulder mark slope we have, from here to the end point, I have about 8. So I'll just get the midpoint, which is 4, and come in by half of an inch. Then I'll be able to create my armhole curve. So I'm taking it this way. Please feel free to make use of your curved ruler. So here it is, the armhole curve have been created. Then for the neckline, I'm going to be using a neck width of say 4 inches. Then a neck depth of 4 as well. I'll be doing that for both the front and the back neckline. 4 inches depth, 4 inches width for both the front and the back. You can choose to do whatever it is you want to. So this is it, guys. Like, believe it or not, we are done with this gown. So what is left now is just to go cut this entire piece out. Cutting out the back armhole, which is maintained at the straight line first before I cut out the front armhole. So I'll just take off one piece. So here, guys, we are done with this cutting. You can see this. You can see how it looks. You can see this all the way to the lower part of the dress. The next thing I'm going to do now is to cut out the sleeve. So I'll be using this to cut out for the 2 sleeves, and if you can see, it's going to be a bell sleeve. So let's say a length of about 13 inches or 14 inches. So one is going to be the major sleeve, which is the main sleeve. Then the other part of the sleeve is going to be a flare cut out. Okay. So for this main sleeve, so I need to divide the measurement into 2. If the length of the sleeve is going to be say 14, then I'll use about say 8 inches, yeah, 8 or 7 inches for the main sleeve. Then I can use, okay, 7 inches for the main sleeve, then 7 inches for the flare. I think it's okay like that. So I'll just go ahead and mark out what I have here. I'll turn this to the other side so I can really get my point. So actually I have more than the length I work with, 7 inches, but I'm going to put, of course, half of an inch to hem it to the main body of the dress, then half of an inch to sew it to the flare that I'll be cutting out afterwards. So which makes it 8 inches. Then from this point, so I'll make here my startup point. So from this point, I'll just mark out the cap size. I have a tutorial on how to cut out this is a very, very detailed and well explained video on how to cut out a basic sleeve. So if you're not familiar with this, you can go ahead and watch it. I'll link it up in the description box. So on this capsule line, I'm going to be putting in the armhole, the round armhole, which is going to be 20 divided by 2, that's 10. I'll just add extra, say 1 inch to that. Now I get a slant on this side. Then from this slant, I'll get the midpoint. All this is just to enable you get a perfect, curve for your sleeve. So I'll take it like this, like an inverted S. And of course, on this lower part, the round sleeve is 15 divided by 2, that's 7.5. So plus 1 inch, that's 8.5. So luckily, that's all I have in this fabric. So I'm just going to connect this. Yeah. So be sure to also check what you have on the body of your dress. What you have on the arm is always good to check what you have, yeah, so that be sure that it rhymes with your sleeve. So I have here about over 13 inches. So I'll just go ahead and cross check this. If it's not up to there, you might need to adjust your curve. I will definitely need to adjust this curve. So we're good. So this little piece is still going to be important for me. So I'll notch the center of the sleeve. And that's it, guys, we're done. So the next thing now is to cut out the flare. So in cutting out the flare, I need to know what I have on the round circumference of the sleeve. What we have here cut out, you need to measure it out. So what I have here is about 16. Okay, so if I divide that by 16 by, say 16 divided by 6.142, so I have about 2.6. I'll just approximate it to 2.5. Then, of course, we know we say the length of the sleeve is going to be 7. So 2.5 plus 7, that's 9.5. Then, of course, I'll add some hemming allowance, say half inch to join it to the upper part of the sleeve, and about maybe 1 inch to join it to the lower, to the hemming, to hem the lower part of the flare. So that would be 9.5 plus 1.5. That means 11, right? Yeah. So 11, and I would like to cut out for the two sleeves together. So I'll just fold my fabric, which means I'll be folding into 8. First of all, into 2, into 4 this way, and of course this way makes it into 8. So I need to have 11 inches in square. So if I check this now, I'll just stand that. Let me maintain 10 inches. 10 inches this way, 10 inches this way. So I'll work with this. So what I'll do now is to mark out that 2.5 for the circumference. If I mark it out, you might want to cross check. So what I have here is 4. 4 multiplied by 4, that's 16. So it gives me exactly what I want. Then I'll mark out the remaining parts of the length, 10 inches, 10 inches. So I will be splitting this on one side. So guys, we're done with the sleeve. So you can see for the both sleeve, so one part of this flare is going to fit into um, our sleeve circumference. You see, it's going to fit in here like so. So that's it. So we are done with this, guys. What is left now is to join this piece together. So I'll take the front piece. Before I do anything, if I want to attach my ruffle, this is the best time to attach any form of ruffle I'm going to create. So you can actually just do something different, okay? If you want to follow what you have, all you need to do is just to first of all, chalk it down. Use your chalk to create any form of shape, how you want your ruffle to go. Like if you're to go by what we have there, you can just do something like this, like a V curved kind of shape, okay, and just make it be maintained at 7 inches. Just imagine you are cutting out a yoke. Normally yoke is between 7 inches to 8 inches is ideal for a yoke. From your shoulder joining to 8 inches down, you should mark that point so it will give you a guideline. You can make it straight. You can just make a straight line and just sew your ruffle on the straight line, or you can just create any form of shape like a V shape like this, just like what you have on the thumbnail, or you can even decide to do like a curve shape, but you need to trace it out first. Be sure that you have a very um, neat and well aligned shape drawn out already. So once you have it, that is all you need to do is just to measure. Like now, if I'm going to use what I have here now, okay, 11, then about 11 this way. So let's say the entire length I have there is 22. So you give me an idea of how to cut out my ruffle. So I'll just take a piece, say about 3 inches length of rough is okay. 3 inches, 3.5 is okay. So which means if I'm cutting out my piece, it should be about 4 inches, depending. If you're going to be weaving the edges, fine, you can just do 3.5 or 3. But if you're going to be hemming it, then I might want to use like 4 inches, so that by the time you hem the lower parts, then you come back to, let's say, 3.5, and of course you are going to use that to sew it on the body of this dress, half of an inch, okay? So let's assuming this is your ruffle, okay? This is the right side. You're going to be facing it like this, right side facing each other. After sewing, then you bring it back this way, and now top stitch at the edge so that it will be well relaxed. I hope you understand that. It's as easy as that, except you want to do a cutout. If you cut this out, after fixing the ruffle, then you attach the upper part back before sewing. But if you just want to avoid that, then you have to turn it to the right side, sew this way before bringing it down this way, then now top stitch on top of it, okay? Once you're done fixing the ruffle, then the next thing of course is to bring your back piece, place it over, you place it over the front piece, then you join your shoulder. Join the shoulder is half of an inch, then hem the neckline. You can decide to cut out his facing if you want, or you use a bias tape to finish the neckline. Once that is done, fix in your sleeve, hem the sides of the dress, and of course the lower part of this, and this outfit is good to go. That's it, guys, on how to make this beautiful A-line dress. I'll just go finish this all up, and of course I'll show you the final look of this dress. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you find this helpful, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, share my video, I appreciate it a lot. And if you're new, please do not forget to also subscribe, and remember also to turn your notification bells on, because that's the only way you get notified every single time I upload my weekly videos. Thank you again to all my subscribers. I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you so much. Like, see you on the next video. Have a beautiful day.